is now in session. And here's the chat. We got our fellas up in here. Mario Cavazos, what's up?
What up, San Antonio? What's up, South Texas? Mike Jimenez, Joe Garcia here for the Alamo City Sportscast, coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas. We're having a great day over here. It is a Monday. It is a Sweet 16 Monday because we're down to the final 16 teams in the NCAA men's tournament. We have a lot to get into today. I am back from Vegas. Had a little spot there on Thursday, doing a walk and talk from the Whataburger on the Las Vegas Strip. I am still suffering from the Vegas flu. We'll get into that. Joe's birthday party. We have to relive the moments that I did not see.
Yeah.
In sports talk, the Aggies almost pulled off a comeback for the ages. Almost.
It was almost epic.
Almost epic. But wow. I mean, it was the ultimate moral victory if I've ever seen one in my entire life. Bull got caught. What he said to the referees after he was caught, he was called for a foul on Victor Wembanyama, was hysterical.
Oh, man.
We're going to get into John Hughes movies in our entertainment segment. John Hughes, you might know him as the writer and director of some of the greatest movies of the 80s and early 90s. Movies like The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, Weird Science, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the Vacation movies. We're talking about this because yesterday was considered to be Breakfast Club Day. Because in the Breakfast Club, in the movie, they say the date.
Yep.
It is March 24th, 1984. Yesterday was the 40-year anniversary of those five being in detention. Okay. Do you want to feel old? Does that make you feel old yet? Right. So beyond all that, it got me thinking about ranking them. Right. So I asked the question on Twitter. You can vote on this poll at MJ Acquire Taste. What is the greatest of the John Hughes movies? Now, whenever you do a Twitter poll or an X poll, you're only allowed to have 4 candidates.
Oh, yeah.
But I know people are like, well, what about this movie? What about that movie? I get it.
4.
I can only put 4. And I found it funny because about an hour ago, I was looking at the results, and the results were coming back almost 25% to 25% to 25%. It's almost identical across the board between The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, National Lampoon's Vacation, and Home Alone. So what I want to do is talk about which is the greatest one, and what about the greatest characters in the world of John Hughes? The greatest character, is it Bender? Is it Chet from Weird Science?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not the best one, but still, it's kind of funny. Is it Ducky?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot going on when it comes to this, but again, we're going to have fun. We'll talk about the baddie brackets as well, because we need to get down to the Sweet 16 as well. Thank you. If you want to be part of the show, you can also be part of our chat stream. Lots of them coming in right now. But before we get going, Joe, happy belated birthday, my man.
No, thanks, man.
How was your birthday party that I missed?
It was good, man. And we had our boy Brandon Big Papi Medina was here, spitting the 1 and 2s.
Nice.
He was doing our DJ Chris Leja, Mario Cavazos showed up. I had my usual boys with me, and then I had some family members that came by, friends that I hadn't seen for a little bit showed up too. It was good, man. It was a good little turnout that we had here. Nothing too crazy, The wife was out there enjoying the night as well. They were playing Jenga on the other table with my little niece.
Yeah.
Late into the night, so they were having a good time over there.
So what time did the party end?
Probably like closer to like 12:30-ish, somewhere around there.
Okay. So I barely missed it then.
You barely missed it. I had already taken down the lights and we started putting stuff away. And my brother-in-law was actually back there. That's why the gate was open, because he left with some of his friends and they were going to come back and continue the party. And that's when you showed up, when they had already left.
So let me tell you what happened. Okay. So I went to Vegas and I'm flying back, and there was a delay in the flight. So there was like some weather issue going on, and we weren't able to get our plane there in time. It was a direct flight. I mean, it was a nonstop flight from Vegas, Southwest Airlines. But by the time I landed, which was over an hour late, by the time I got my luggage and got my truck and all that stuff, I made my way over here. It was 1:20 in the morning. And I thought to myself, you know what? If there's 2 people partying, I got to party at least a little bit, right? Even though I was hungover, even though I'd had way too much to drink all week long, I decided I was going to come by and stop by. So I pull up to your house and I notice that it's relatively dark, but there's some light in the backyard though.
Yeah, all my solar lights were on.
Okay, so but the gate was open.
Yeah, because my brother-in-law was coming back.
So I was like, okay, the gate's open. I'm going to make my way to the back, and I see the pool. I see all the deck chairs and all of that stuff. And I notice that the lights are pretty much off.
Yeah.
And I thought at that point, you know what? I think I'm going to go home. I don't think anyone's inside. I didn't want to peek inside to see if there's anybody in the kitchen.
Creepy, Mike.
You know, or anything like that. So I get back to my truck and I'm like, you know what? The tall tale is going to be Michael never showed up. What proof do you have? So I have proof from my dashboard of it being 1:22 in the morning, taking a photo of your dark house to say that I actually did try to come wish you a happy birthday, man. Yeah. So I apologize for missing it. I do owe you a bottle, but while we were doing the 2-minute intro into the show, you were talking about the fact that you got all this liquor for your birthday.
I did, man. Chris Leha gave me a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
I got Woodward's Reserve from Big Papi, Brandon Medina. My friend April brought me a bottle of Rebecca's Creek. And one of my best friends, Jonas Clark, he got me a bottle of scotch. So
tell me what you need from me. Okay. Do you need and if it isn't an alcohol, maybe you need shot glasses.
I got some shot glasses. If you want to get me a bottle of Balcones. It's called Baby Blue.
Okay.
Because it's made out of blue corn liquor. Yeah. Or blue corn, should I say. And they make it into the liquor. But man, that stuff is good, dude. The only place that I see in town that really carries it is Total Wine and More over there off of San Pedro.
Okay. I'll have to jot that down.
If you go there, though, you're going to be spending some money. Because every time I go there, I wind up spending like $300, bro. Because we start looking at the selection that they have for the whiskey and all that. And you can't just buy one. You're like, shit, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that.
While I'm here, I'm already here.
Exactly.
Tim Gonzalez says I didn't show up because I don't like Tejano music.
Hey, we had some Tejano going on. We had some cumbias with Big Papi Brandon Medina spinning that. And we also had some gritos in the backyard.
Nice.
Chris Leha was kind enough to grace us with the gritos. So it was getting puro back here, bro.
Yeah, Sis said I took a greasy ass pic. The thing about it is that my phone has a waterproof cover on it, and it's because I went to the coast about a year ago or so, and my phone dropped into the water. And ever since then, I've been really kind of concerned about it being broken because it got wet.
Yeah.
So I put this case on there, and I hate this case now because whenever there's a bright light shining on it, it gets hazy, and it looks greasy, if you will. But, man, I had a great time in Vegas. You know, I showed up here for the last show before going over there on Wednesday, and I had my bags, my envelopes of cash, right? I got to Vegas, and I thought it was going to be my lucky day because I show up to Vegas. We got there 30 minutes early. I'm like, baby, we got here early.
Yeah, you got this.
I go to the thing that has all the conveyor belt that has the suitcases. Mine is the first one to come out. I go to get a cab. Cab is waiting. I'm like, my goodness, like it's perfect, right? Within about 2 hours, I had lost my ass in Vegas. I couldn't win anything, not a blackjack hand. I was getting my ass handed to me on Pai Gow, roulette. I mean, here's put money on red, black, even. It's odd. You know, I'm gonna do this on the first and second, third. It's the third. Like I was getting everything wrong. And at the end of the first night, I was down about $1,000. Like down about $1,000 within like 3 hours. And at that point, it's like midnight.
Yeah.
1 a.m., which I should still be going get partying. But as I've told you before, if I get through the envelope, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I placed some bets with that envelope money, whatever. Then the next day comes around, March Madness gets going, and I am losing my ass again. Every single game that I bet on was wrong. Like I would call the winner, but the winner wasn't winning by enough. I put a tease on it. I wasn't getting the over. I wasn't getting the under. Like I was calling the winners correctly, but it was just they weren't covering the spread or the overs and unders were wrong. And I was like, oh my God, I am losing my ass. So day 2 of 4, I lost my ass. Day 3 comes around and things start to turn around a bit. Okay. I got drunk early. So normally I don't like getting drunk early in the morning. But by 11:30 a.m., man, I was trashed. And I gave my friends money. And I said, man, I've been losing so much money. I'm down $2,000 at this point. I said, here's $100 to you, Richard. Here's 100 to you, Mike. Here's 100 to you, Brian. Here's 100 to you, Alex. Here's 100 to you. All my friends that were there.
Yeah.
I said, I've been picking bad bets. You all go bet on the games for me. And I didn't think anything of it. Just put it in my pocket. And I went on with my day. Watched a couple of games. It's all right. And at this point, I'm trying to turn my luck around. And I'm walking to the restroom and I see a roulette wheel. And I'm like, you know what? I've never done this. Never done this in my entire life. Pulled out a $100 bill, put it on black, and I said, 100 on black. And it hit. Black 10. At that point, I told everybody, I am back, baby. I am back. So what ends up happening is that I then go and I said, I'm going to place a bet myself with my winnings, right? And you're supposed to tell them the number that you want to call, like the corresponding team, right? So it could be like 752 is Clemson, right? And then they tell you, okay, you want to bet on this team? Yes. And I said 751, $50 bet, money line. I was trying to bet a different team. But they looked at me and they said, Yale? I was like, Yale?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to bet for Yale. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I thought about Seinfeld. You know, in Seinfeld, they say that George Costanza is always wrong. And Jerry tells him, well, if you're always wrong, that means that every opposite reaction is the right one to do. So the opposite reaction was for me to say, okay, I'll take Yale.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, okay, I'll take Yale. That's fine. And Yale hit.
Yeah.
Money line, it hit. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. My friends and I, we had a big group of people went out to dinner. And I thought I was going to pay, right? I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to be a big guy and pay at the Venetian, this nice nice dinner that we had there. We had this huge dinner. Tab comes. It's $900, right? Like $850, $900, right around there, not including the tip. And one of the girls that was part of our party was there with us. And these servers get up on this table and they just started swinging these lights around.
Yeah.
Like a lasso type of thing. And one of them came apart, flew and hit our friend in the face.
Wow.
Dude, ultimately they ended up covering the tab. The restaurant paid for it all, which was I was going to pay for it. So I felt like I was like, hey, there's another win.
Yeah.
Then the last hour I was there, won another $700, dude. Got 4 of a kind on Pai Gow. I got a bonus for that. Hit big on Gonzaga on the way out the door. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, I'm bringing back most of my money. Was still down for the weekend. You're going to be down when you're in Vegas, right? But I brought back, I would say, 70% of what I took.
Not bad.
Not bad, dude. It was bad for a while there, man.
You're losing your ass.
Bad for a while. Chris Gonzalez was out and said should have played rock, paper, scissors, or war. Coming at us from the John Hughes movie that is Vegas Vacation. Yeah, I was gonna go hit up the buffet. I'll have some of the blue and some of the yellow. Don't get stingy on me. Great line. But was thinking about it. Went to the Sphere.
Oh yeah, the show they
had never been to the Sphere. Spent a lot of money to go to the Sphere, right? And you asked me the other day, was I going to sit VIP?
Yeah, I mean, you get the drinks,
right? Okay, I didn't get VIP, but I knew what section the VIP was, and when I went on Ticketmaster, I went to the next section, just hoping and praying they would be close to the middle. Dude, it was the 3 seats right next to the VIP.
Oh, okay,
literally VIP. I could touch the shoulder of the person sitting in VIP. So we basically were VIP adjacent.
Yeah.
It was fun, man. It was fun. That's a hell of a show. They have these AI computers that are in the front. You ask them a question and they will give you a response. And the people were asking these questions like this one idiot in front of us. They're like, okay, ask it a question and they'll answer whatever's on the robot's mind. And the guy goes, are you gathering data for the Chinese or for any foreign country that is adversarial towards the United States? And I'm like, dude, shut the F up.
You should have asked who's going to win the tourney.
Right, I should have. And then the what's it called? The robot goes, we are apolitical and have no stance when it comes to politics.
Stupid.
And then,
Wasted question.
And then my friend was like, what should I ask? I said, ask what the meaning of life is.
Like Siri?
Yeah. And then the robot, the AI robot, in a very creepy fashion, looks down at us and goes, well, since we do not know what death is, we can only theorize, what and it goes on to say, I would suggest spending time with friends and family and people who love you.
Yeah.
And all of that. And I found that to be funny. But the experience there was really cool.
Nice.
It was really cool.
Something happened here over the weekend too. We went ahead and surpassed our March goal. We had 750, so now we're at 758 subscribers, pushing our way down over here now or should I say our way up?
Yeah,
to closer to 1,000. So gotta have some fireworks, to celebrate 758. So thank you to all those who subscribed to the channel. We had an increase this month of, I think it was 71 or 77 plus more subscribers than we normally do.
Yeah. And the numbers are getting better.
Yeah.
We're getting more consistent. We now are going to be having giveaways over here. So it pays to listen to this podcast. And that's the thing. I know you've been very generous when it comes to matters of going to, giving away Spurs tickets. We'll be giving away an evening or a pass, if you will, into the new Spurs Club.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming up pretty soon. We'll be doing that probably in April or so. We actually had a donation given to us of Android tablets.
Nice.
2 of them that we can give away in the next couple of weeks or so. That one I want to advertise first before we go into that.
Do that.
I sent out a text message today to the San Antonio Missions, and I'm asking them not only for tickets to see if we can make that happen so that we can give away, but we're also going to be looking to see if there'd be a player who may want to come on and tell their story on our show.
That'd be cool.
So I think that'd be a pretty fun.
I'm actually putting in for media passes for us as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, and by the way, I put in a media pass for you for this Saturday. See if we get approved, because me and Brandon are going to go to a boxing event that they're going to have, I think, at the Techport Arena.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked for 3 passes, and they're going to try to accommodate us.
Yeah. What's the name of that promoter? They do a really good job over there at Techport.
Yeah, they do.
They have that gym over on Broadway.
Yep.
That they go and do. The name is eludes me right now, right? But no, man, it's fun. This whole network is growing, and don't forget, Rudy Campos Jr. gets going in the afternoons. I like the way he described it the other day. He said the drive home.
Yeah, he's the drive home, man. And they changed their time slot from, instead of 2:00, now they're doing from like the 4 to 4, 5:30, something like that. So make sure you go and check out Sweep the League after you listen to our show. And I'm trying to catch up from the shows from last week. So everybody's like, why are you doing a replay or re-upload? It's like people are asking me, Joe, where's the video? Where's the podcast? So that's why you're going to see 2 more episodes or a couple more episodes pop up today, plus the one for today.
Sith Elias reaches out to us and says, hook your boy up with a Cheesecake Factory dinner. Y'all can come join us. Cheesecake Factory. You got to up your game, baby. You got to up your game. Are you pro or against the Cheesecake Factory? Because there was that poll that was released from women asking them the question, what restaurant do you not want to be taken to on a first date? And number 1 was the Cheesecake Factory.
I don't know what's wrong with
do you think people crap on the Cheesecake Factory too much?
They crap on it too much, but it's not bad, dude. It's all right. My daughter loves it. I mean, I'll take her there for her birthday and stuff, but it's not like, oh, I'm avid, I'm going to advocate to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, and one of the things that I'm going to tell you guys that we're going to wind up giving away here is that I got another set of tickets, Spurs tickets for an upcoming game here in April. And that's a Sunday game. And that I'm going to give away 2 more tickets, a set of tickets and the parking pass. The other thing we're going to give away is I have a T-shirt that they were giving out this year when they went ahead and had Tony Parker enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and then he came back. Spurs went ahead and raised his new jersey to the rafters, indicating he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. And they gave out shirts for that day. I have a shirt that I'm going to give out along with an autograph, authenticated autograph, Tony Parker photo I just showed Mike.
That's
And we have some
badass.
other stuff that's legit, signed and all that. So we're going to be giving out some things, this before the season ends. But again, in order to win, you got to be following us and subscribing to the Alamo City Sportscast or the podcast network.
Midtown is reaching out to us saying it's Davies Entertainment and
Davies
Gym
Entertainment.
that's doing that. That's exactly what it is. By the way, I don't know if you've been out there to Davies Gym. I want to do it, man, because they do the boxing out there, but they also do haircuts. They have a shoe store in there. They've got a restaurant. They've got a little bit of everything going on.
Davies Entertainment. Yeah, they have an entertainment aspect of it, and then they have the gym.
Right.
So it's like the best of both worlds. They got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
I did a radio show there about a year ago, and there were these guys that were getting ready to do a weigh-in, and they were like, "Oh, I'm 6 pounds heavy. Give me a few minutes. I'll be 6 pounds lighter." Then they go off and do a run, and then they go into the sauna, and they're trying to get this weight off of themselves for it. Ridiculous, man. But let's go ahead and go to the highlights you have on my screen here. Last night's game, March Madness. Wait. Ooh, that is way too loud.
I told you the audio was going to come through.
There's your game reset.
Oh, okay. This is courtesy
left
of
in regulation.
TNT.
Buzz Williams and the
Talking
Aggies
about the
down to
game
their
last night.
final timeout.
As I lower this
They're
here,
trying to-
there it goes. Talking about the game between Texas A&M and the Houston Cougars. This was a round of 32 matchup last night. And, man, A&M down 12 points. 12 points with a minute 52 to go. They got a quick dunk, got it down to 10, and somehow, miraculously, over the course of the next minute 43, with this defense, with missed free throws, with lots of things going on, end up getting the game tied and going to overtime. In fact, the game was tied at the buzzer. A three-point shot, an inbounds pass from behind the backboard, made its way to a player, knocked it down from 23 feet. It was ridiculous what went down yesterday. And at that point, you're thinking to yourself, how many people turned off the TV?
A lot.
I mean, you're down 12 with a minute 50 to go. How many people turned off the TV? How many Aggies fans got on ESPN.com and noticed the fact that, what do you mean? What do you mean it's an overtime? But it wasn't a thing of destiny or anything like that. What ended up happening was the Cougars pulled away. Cougars the 1 seed. They were supposed to run away with this. The Aggies led for the first 10 minutes of the game. Houston took over and had a consistent lead, but the Aggies hung around, man. They were between 4, 8, and 10 points away. Found themselves down 12 with a minute 52 to go.
They were being pest.
They were just being pests, and
Yeah.
that just put yourself in position. Just put yourself in position. But man, that 3-pointer to tie the game, I'm gonna find it right here.
Yeah, that was something,
look at this
man.
play. Behind the backboard, inbounds play, 86-83 with 1.2 seconds to go. And it doesn't even look like it was their first option.
No.
First option was off to the side. Guy left wide open at top of the key. Falling down, nailed it.
He just laid on his back, dude. After he knew that was going in. He was just on the ground. Teammates came. Everybody's jumping up and down, excited. I mean, how can you not love this? This is what the tourney's all about.
It is, and it's so sad that the Aggies ended up losing that game. I mean, the Cougars are an excellent team, but the Aggies fought back, man, and they fought back hard. What's going on with March Madness right now? As I'm going to call up the brackets, the March Madness brackets. There's a lot.
We got two. We got the women's and the men's.
Well, let's talk about the men's first, okay? On the men's side, again, we're down to 16 teams. Did you know the Big East is 3-0? Like
that's insane, dude.
They have 3 teams that made it to the tournament, and all 3 are in the Sweet 16. And in fact, these coaches from the Big East came out and said, "Why do we only have 3 teams? We should have 6." Because if you look at the bubble, like the ones that were the ones that were saying that they were the snubbed ones,
Yeah.
that was Seton Hall, that was St. John's. It was these schools from the Big East. The Big East is a very, very good conference, and they're saying we're proving it. You only allowed us to have 3 teams in this tournament. All three are still alive right now. So right now, all ones are still alive.
Yeah.
All twos are still alive. In fact, I guess you can say now that March Madness has gotten to the Sweet 16, there's no Cinderellas this year.
Oh, I don't know. You still got North Carolina State.
Okay, yeah, but North Carolina State is an ACC school, and in fact, they were favored to win the first game of the tournament. So they're not a bad team. I don't consider NC State. I picture a mid-major being a Cinderella. NC State won the title 40 years ago with, back in the day with Jim Valvano running around, right?
I can tell you one thing that was disappointing to me, man. Grand Canyon, dude.
Yeah, that they blew it.
They hung around for a little bit, real quick.
Yeah.
And then that was it. They're done.
So we have a Sweet 16 matchup between UConn, who, by the way, is probably looking like the best team in all of basketball. They've been saying there's a lot of parity going on in college basketball, and there very well may be, but UConn was the number 1 overall seed, destroyed Stetson in the first round by 39, comes off and beats the living crap out of Northwestern. They're taking on Kawhi Leonard's old team, San Diego State. San Diego State, man, blew out Yale in the second round. Other part of that bracket, you've got number 2 and 3, Iowa State taking on Illinois. Illinois beat Duquesne. Duquesne upset BYU in the first round. Iowa State got past Washington. Over in the other conference involving the Houston Cougars, rather.
Yeah.
Houston's playing Duke, 1-4 matchup right there.
That's an interesting game, dude, on Friday.
Yep. NC State and Marquette going at it, a 2-11 matchup. Other brackets, you've got Purdue and Gonzaga. A lot of people thought Gonzaga was going to get bounced in the first round. They ended up beating McNeese, beating the crap out of them, and then they take out Kansas.
Convincingly.
Very much so, yeah. I was ready to cash my ticket on that one at halftime. Creighton.
Cash me out.
Creighton, the 3 seed, taking on Tennessee. Both of these teams looking strong.
Tennessee is looking very good, man.
Tennessee barely pulled it out against Texas, though, man. Texas played strong. Texas and Texas A&M both played strong and both got burned in the last minute of the game.
Well, it wasn't like Tennessee blew them out. I mean, Texas tried to hang in there, but they're playing with a group that it's decimated by injury. So they're just trying to do the best they did. They did an admirable job. They just didn't have enough weapons.
We also have North Carolina, a 1 seed, taking on a 4 seed Alabama.
That's going to be a good one, too.
Arizona and Clemson still alive. Clemson taking out Baylor. That's a little bit of an upset.
That is. I like Clemson over Arizona.
Dude, I do too, man. Clemson looked really good against New Mexico. A lot of people thought New Mexico was going to be that team to make its way to the Sweet 16, but it ends up being Clemson. Basically, if you were being boring with your brackets and pick the 1s and 2s,
you're done.
You're good.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, you still have some of the higher seeds that are available, but there was some upsets.
Now, I haven't seen the ratings yet, but Angel Reese, LSU, women's basketball, is she the villain this year?
I don't know, man. It seems like it. Seems like that's her role now.
Okay, because in this last game that they were playing against Middle Tennessee State, Angel Reese taunted one of the players, and Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark last year.
Well, Caitlin had done that to her first.
Yes,
so she's just getting back at her.
She got back at her, but I found this to be funny. This video right here, courtesy of ABC Sports. Angel Reese, in a very close game, drew a foul here that fouled out one of the star players from Middle Tennessee State, and Caitlin Clark waves goodbye to her. Waves goodbye while that girl looks like she's crying on the way out and is raising her hands up like, cheer for this. Bye, girl. Bye. Okay. So over the weekend, I was watching the 30 for 30 episode from a couple of years ago of Christian Laettner and how he was the most hated person in all of college basketball for like 4 years running, right? Everybody hated Laettner. Is Angel Reese the female version of Christian Laettner?
I would say
is she
yes.
more loved than is she more hated than loved?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dude, she is so good. She is so good. And these are the national champions. And the drama that's going on right now in college basketball right now on the women's side is you have LSU still alive. You have Iowa with Caitlin Clark still alive. South Carolina rocking and rolling at still undefeated. And there's going to be a collision course at some point, probably in the Elite Eight, between an LSU team going up against Iowa as a rematch, as a rematch of the national championship game from a year ago in the Elite Eight. But the whole thing about Angel Reese, though, is that you either love her or you hate her. I'm forced to love her because my money goes to LSU.
Yeah, because of your daughter.
Because my daughter graduated from there. But I respect it because she backs it up. And there's a personality that goes on here on the women's side that you don't see on the men's side because of the one and dones. There are no one and dones in college basketball on the women's side. They go the 3 or 4 years. We see Caitlin Clark break records. We see the battles between South Carolina and UCLA and USC and LSU and Texas and Connecticut and Tennessee. We know who the players are. You get to have this thing like it was in the 90s with Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley and all those guys.
Yeah, man.
I love it, dude. The girls Final Four, the women's Elite Eight is going to be brutal, man. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
It's going to be really entertaining. I think more so than the men's.
Jesse reaches out and says, Mike's money goes to LSU because his daughter? He's never mentioned that before. Chris Gonzalez says, I see Angel Reese as more of a Grayson Allen type of player. Dude, Grayson Allen was not the best player in all of college basketball. Angel Reese is one of the 3 or 4 best in all of the women's side right now.
Yeah.
But I love watching it, dude. I love watching it.
Let's go ahead and pause real quick and give some shout outs here. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to our boy over here, Christopher Leja, with MCS General Contracting. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leja over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
And let's show some love also to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. I'm taking a look at his Twitter feed right now. Again, he provides daily content when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs.
Let me go ahead and play his little ad read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
So Jeff Garcia has an article on Kens5.com that just posted 15 minutes ago talking about a basketball card, a rare basketball card of former Spurs point guard Johnny Moore that sold for over $16,000. Now, keep in mind, Jeff has an article also from last week about how a Victor Wembanyama autographed jersey fetched $3,000. First of all, a couple of things. Johnny Moore, $16,000. You got to read his article on Kens5.com to find out why it was worth $16,000. Because, I mean, a 1986 Johnny Moore card, there's got to be a story behind it. Jeff G Spurs Zone. Follow him on Twitter and also follow him on Kens5.com. Now, one of the articles he did have was about a Victor Wembanyama jersey sold for $3,000 at an auction. I would have spent $3,000 on that. I would have spent $3,000 on that. Are you kidding me? That thing's gonna be worth $50,000 in about 10 years. You know, I'm just saying. Had I known about that auction, I would have taken 3 of the envelopes that I took to Vegas and bought the Wemby jersey. Most definitely. Most definitely. But Jeff G Spurs Zone again on Twitter and on Threads. Follow him also on Spotify. I also follow on YouTube as well. But we were talking earlier, Joe, 758 followers. Why do you think we're inching closer and closer to 1,000? There's something like, because we stalled there for a little while.
Yeah.
And now we're picking up 3, 4, 5, 6 a day.
Yeah, I think it's just, the show just being a little bit more consistent
Yeah.
that we've been putting out just content that everybody wants to kind of talk about. We're talking about the subjects that are hot right now. We're talking about the NCAA tourney. We're talking Spurs. We talk a little bit about NFL, talking about the Cowboys. Oh, and speaking of that, man, there was a great article or a little tweet that I saw up on, I think it was Barstool Sports, and it has a great picture of Jerry Jones, and he's just got a tablet in front of him, and it just has a bunch of scribbles on it, and they go, "This is Jerry's plan for this upcoming season. We're all in." Trying to look busy. He's just sitting back, and they're just focusing on that little tablet that he has there, and it's just scribbles all over the place. But we're having fun with it.
Second foul.
And I think that's the reason why people are subscribing, and we're getting more people to come in and be regulars of the show because they like your humor, and they like the topics that we talk about.
They also like the fact that instead of talking about the Suns beating the Spurs, we talk about one particular play.
Oh,
let's put it up. This is courtesy of Valley Sports.
It's up, man.
This is courtesy of Valley Sports. Hear what Bull had to say after being called for a foul on Victor Wembanyama in the second quarter. Take a listen. As it loads
now
up.
it buffers.
Now it's buffering. It's giving the circle of death.
I don't know. Where'd you get the video from? Is it ESPN?
This is courtesy of Valley Sports, actually.
Jeez.
That's brutal. Okay, so
I know there ain't nothing wrong with our internet. So
Spurs. Okay, so as we know, the Spurs lost back-to-back games over the weekend, right? That's just par for the course when it comes to the Spurs. But there was that matchup between Wemby and Bull. So both of them right around 7'4", and I'm going to play it right now. Now
okay,
it's working.
Now it's working.
Phoenix foul number 11. Bull is second foul on Bull.
One more time. Again, he goes, "Hey man, you guys are dick riding him. First of all, didn't know Bull spoke English that well, right? Especially to be using that phrase. But he was pissed off about a foul being called against him on Victor Wembanyama. Now, to be honest with you, it was a ticky-tack foul. Was it a foul? Yes, it was. Okay, he had two hands on the guy. You can't do that. You can't play with a hand check. That is just the way that's them rules right now. But no one wants to see those calls, man. No one wants to see a call like that. No one wants to see a player get look here. Bull played pretty good defense against Wemby. The Suns played a good game. But we're watching video right now of Wemby trying to do his thing on Bull. That was the foul right there. Wemby trying to go to the left, going towards the lane. And the reaction. So let me ask you this. We saw the play a couple of times. Wemby goes to the left, going towards the lane. Bull has two hands on him for a brief second, gets called for a hand check. Do you agree that that's a foul, Joe? Or do you think that that's something that should just be let go?
I think it was really nothing, man. At the end of the day, it wasn't like he was pulling a jersey or something, but within the confines of the rules, it's left up to the discretion of the referee.
Mario Cavasso reaching out and saying Shaq is dick riding Bull.
Oh my God, yes, bro.
Because Shaq has been saying that Wemby and Bull are very similar. They're similar in heights. They're similar in the fact that Bull can block shots and Bull can also knock down some threes. But one's a superstar, one's not. Bull does not put up the numbers that Wemby does.
He can't do what Wemby does.
And you know what? He can do it once in a while. Once in a while, he'll come out with a 20-point, 10 rebound, 5 block game. Every once in a while, but day in and day out, doesn't happen. They're not even worth.
I think Shaq has changed his tune a little bit. I heard him recently saying how he thought that emphatically it was going to be Victor Wembanyama who should be not defensive player of the year, but rookie of the year. And he said that he was in the running too for defensive player of the year. But Shaq notoriously shits on San Antonio.
Yeah, Bull for the season, averaging 6 points, 3.5 rebounds, and less than 1 block a game. They ain't the same. They ain't the same. Hey, I saw a stat the other day that I found to be very funny. Talking about Wemby and Defensive Player of the Year. You just mentioned it right now. Rudy Gobert right now, according to most of the Vegas sports books, is the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. And there are those who have votes, such as Bill Simmons of The Ringer, who say that they don't even think that Wemby should be considered.
Yeah.
Not that they're not only going to not vote for him, might actually leave him off the ballot. Now, Bill Simmons left Jaren Jackson Jr. off the ballot when he won. So it's not unheard of. But I saw a stat the other day talking about these teams. And going back to Bill Simmons said that you should not consider Wemby because Wemby is on a very, very bad defensive team. Spurs give up 120 points per game. The Spurs, when he is on the court, are a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Defensively, because of him. When he's off the court, they're one of the worst teams ever to play the game. But the stats that have been shown this year about the Minnesota Timberwolves and Rudy Gobert playing with Cat, Anthony Edwards, and all that. Did you know that with him in the lineup, with Rudy Gobert in the lineup, the T-Wolves are the number 1 defensive team in all of the NBA?
How about that? Did not know that.
But did you know that without Rudy Gobert in the lineup, they are still the number 1 defense in the NBA? Think about that. Think about that. They're number 1 when he's on the floor, number 1 when he's off the floor, because it is a well-rounded defensive team. And you've got Cat, who's another 7-footer out there. You have Anthony Edwards patrolling the top of the key. You've got a lot of, doesn't Slow-Mo play for them still? You've got a lot of players who have high defensive IQs on the court at one time. So you see this disparity with Wemby, how they are a horrific team defensively when he's off the court, but a pretty good team when he's on the floor. Gobert, he doesn't have to deal with the crap that Wemby does. That stat right there, that they're number 1 with or without him, to me means a lot.
It does.
And I think that's a feather in the cap of Victor Wembanyama that a lot of us don't see. That Minnesota team is averaging the fewest points given up the entire season. I think they give up like 105, which in the year 2024 is pretty impressive. But Gobert has the luxury of knowing he's got a stud defender to the side of him, a stud defender to him on the other side, and a stud defender in front of him. That's something that Wemby does not have. And I think that if the NBA and these people who have these votes, these sports writers, can comprehend that, I think Wemby actually has a legitimate chance of making it close.
He does.
At least make first team.
It's going to be up to the discretion of how, let's say, the votes come in. Because a lot of the times what happens when you go ahead and vote on Defensive Player of the Year or even Rookie of the Year, it's left up to the voters. And these voters, who are they? Members of the media.
Right.
Some of them, they could be analysts. And I'm sure you have some coaches or something that might vote as well. But, I mean, for the most part, it's left up to the discretion of the people.
It's also old writers as well.
Yeah.
Who don't understand the analytics of things. I think about those who do the Baseball Writers Association, that do the Hall of Fame. They get so caught up in things like hits and runs and RBIs and homers because we grew up with that in the back of a baseball card.
Yeah, the stats.
But really, it's OPS, it's slugging percentage, it's WAR. Those are the real stats that determine whether or not someone is good at baseball.
RBIs,
yes, because it brings people in. But there are other statistics that are out there that can be used to determine who is better or average over replacement type stuff. In basketball, effective field goal shooting percentage is a big thing for me. That just shows you how effective you are. But defensive win shares, those are all big deals. And the thing is that I think a lot of older sports writers, when I say old, I'm talking about those in their 60s and 70s, who have no idea what any of that means.
Yeah.
And they're just going about it old school way. They look at it and go, well, Wemby's on a shitty team. And therefore, but you can say, but analytically, they're pretty good when he's on the court. Yeah, but they're gonna take it away from him because Zach Collins goes out there and is subbed in for him. What does Zach Collins have to do with Wemby being a Defensive Player of the Year nominee? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
We do also have something that we haven't really talked about that much, but San Antonio Brahmas, they're going to be kicking off their season on Sunday of all things. I mean, what
Easter
a
Sunday.
Shitty day to open up.
Easter
right?
Sunday, yeah.
Easter Sunday. Do they not know what happens here in San Antonio on Easter Sunday?
Yes, just
the raza, man.
Just go down Brackenridge Park.
They're
and
at the parks, bro. Everybody's with their families, celebrating, barbecuing. They're not going to go to the Brahmas game.
Dude, I'm not going to go to a Brahmas game ever.
Why?
No, dude, I've done that, man. I've done the Commanders. I've done the Gunslingers. I've done all of that. The Commanders were fun. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
But the Brahmas don't even practice here. They don't live here. It's not like we can go see them and go to Brahmas practice. It's not like we can go and see a player and get interviewed by local media or whatever the case may be. The Brahmas, what do they practice in Dallas? All the teams practice in Dallas, and then they go, okay, now let's go to our home city, quote unquote, and go play there. And the second that they're done, they go back to Dallas. Why am I going to cheer for that? They have no ties to this community other than
it's a team here in San Antonio.
Other than it says they're not in San Antonio.
But I'm saying it's San Antonio's
they're carpetbaggers.
Version of the XFL.
They're carpetbaggers, man.
No, I'm gonna watch them.
I ain't gonna watch any of that crap.
I'll probably go to a game or two.
I'm not gonna follow one play of that.
I'll even go to the Gunslingers. I'll probably go to one or two of the Gunslingers games.
No, if we're gonna throw money at a football team, it better be UTSA and UIW football.
Well, I'm gonna go see all the sports that are local here, man, including the Brahmas and the Slingers. Of course, I'm gonna go see UTSA football. I'm putting our name in the hat, by the way, too, for media credentials for that.
There you go. You go. The Brahmas it's going to be another league that folds in 2 years anyway.
We'll see.
We've seen this story before. We've seen how it gets played out.
You know what it is, really? It boils down to how much money do they actually have? Because, man, I'll tell you one thing. I can't say too much, but there's been a change of ownership with one of these local football teams that they've had here, right? And the original guys that had gotten behind it found out real quick how expensive it is. It doesn't matter how deep your pockets are. You think how deep your pockets are. There's a lot of other underlying costs that they don't realize. Like, for example, when you have these teams that are local here and you put in the contract, if they have a certain amount of yardage, if they do certain things, they get bonuses. If they win games, they get bonuses.
Right.
It all adds up pretty quick.
No, I get that. And there's, the need or the desire to watch professional football.
Yeah.
And you do see a lot of players eventually make their way into the NFL. They not a lot, but a few of them will become kickers or punt returners. Wasn't Cavante Turpin from the Cowboys one at some point?
Yeah.
It's just San Antonio semi-pro football or semi. Yeah, it is semi-pro football. Does nothing for me.
You know what we're gonna definitely do, because I know it's gonna start. We're gonna go see those Alamo City roller girls, dude, at the Spada Sports Park.
What year is this?
Hey, man, they
I know. I'm
down,
sure
dude.
it's fun. I'm sure
it's fun.
It's like RCW wrestling. I get excited when I'm there, but the idea of like watching
the
on
roller
TV
derby
does nothing for me. But the roller derby stuff is funny.
Hey, that's in person though. You're gonna go see that in person. You're gonna see him throw down. I'm looking forward to taking you.
I'll check it out. Check it out.
It's a good time.
Yeah, taking a look right now. According to ESPN.com, the NFL, the owners have approved a new rule to ban the swivel hip drop tackle. The swivel hip drop tackle, and I remember that being an issue. It basically happens to quarterbacks and to some running backs as well. This is basically when you put them over your hip and then drop them down. It's like you corkscrew them down, and it's going to result in a 15-yard penalty and fines. It's basically rugby type of play. Certain players have gotten hurt. Tight ends are also kind of subject to this type of tackle from time to time. And it says if a defender grabs the runner with both hands and wraps the runner with both arms and then unweights himself by swiveling or dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on or trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. That is a new rule there. Says the NFL Players Association joined many current and former players in objecting the proposal last week. It's kind of weird because, you know, I understand that is a very dangerous technique to get a player down. And you have the players on one side saying that they're opposed to this rule. You have the owners who say that they are in favor of this rule because they're seeing a lot of injuries when it comes to this. To me, I think it's a no-brainer that you have this rule, but at the same time, I can see why defenses get pissed off because now they can't find, like, how are you supposed to tackle these days? Like, you can't touch them. You can't hip swivel them. You can't go after their knees.
Grab the collar.
You can't grab the collar. It's turning into two-hand touch football. And
That's
I bet
like,
you it's going to be that at some point.
I'm like, what can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, I get they're trying to protect the players from that. Was it CTE and all that kind of stuff?
Well, this is more of a ACL, ankle, UCL,
Lower extremities.
Yeah, it is brutal though. It is brutal.
But players get hurt too, not even being touched because of the turf.
Right, but I think that people are of the belief that they're doing this type of tackle to intimidate, not doing it out of necessity. Like out of necessity, oh, you're getting away, and let me just drop my body. But they're doing this to kind of instill fear in a wide receiver.
It's football,
fear.
Man. It's football at the end of the day. I mean, you have guys going at it while you're in high school, you know, tackling each other out there on the field. Then you get to the NFL level, and you have these guys that are, I mean, for all intents and purposes, elite athletes out there. How are you supposed to get them on the ground, man?
Yes, Sith reaches out to us on our YouTube stream and says on the chat line, "Got to lay them down and kiss their foreheads."
Oh gosh.
We have another person asking, "How was the trip, MJ?" Hand of a fist asking if I'm going back to Vegas in April. April, I'm going to New Orleans.
Nice.
So I'm going to go hang out with my daughter. We're going to meet and go to Jazz Fest and check out the Killers perform at that festival. That's going to be in April.
You're going to indulge in some beignets?
Beignets from Cafe du Monde, or I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, in the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is, do I go back to Vegas in May for the Lovers and Friend concert?
I say yes, especially to get that VIP. That's the only way you're going to be able to use the catwalk to kind of go across and look at all the stages. Because let's be honest, in order to see as many acts as you want, you're going to only be able to listen to a handful of songs and then move.
And it's funny because like the big names out there are Sierra and Janet Jackson. Screw all of them. You know who I want to see?
Backstreet Boys.
No, I want to see John B.
Oh, man.
And I want to watch Craig David.
Okay.
Two of the little names that are on there. I want to see Jason Derulo. Those are the ones I want to see. I want to see Neo.
Okay.
I don't care about, No Doubt.
And you're going to be running back and forth.
Yeah. I'm going to be at the little tent, right? The little stage.
Yeah.
John B was so good back in the day. Neo, so good. I want to see Timbaland.
Oh, yeah. Timberland's still good. He's still, cranking out beats and stuff, man.
Dante Rose says, "Man, that Lovers and Friends is something else because you have to move constantly." John B for sure. John B is one of those singers where you don't realize that he's white, because he sings kind of black, but he also sang with Tupac.
He's got some soul in him, man.
Yeah, I mean, the bona fides were the last song that Tupac ever recorded was a John B duet. I think it's called "They Don't Know."
Yeah,
it's a great song. Good times. So that's the next one. So, but then I have to decide who am I going to go with, to this Lovers and Friends tour.
Yeah, you got to pick your friends. Who are you going to take?
Brutal. Got to figure that one out.
See, hopefully you don't lose nobody.
Dude, I'm still so hungover. I apologize. This is a bad show today. I don't think it's a bad show. I just know that I feel yucky.
You need an IV, brother.
Well, I mean, yesterday I got in And I by the time I got home, it was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And by the time I got my dog situated, and they were happy to see me, they wanted to spend time with me. I didn't get to bed till like 3:30. Woke up yesterday. I was in bed the entire day.
Jeez.
I would say that from 3 a.m. Sunday to about 7 a.m. today, that's what, a 28-hour span.
Felt like crap.
I was probably in bed all but 1 hour of that time. I got up to go get something to eat. I made myself some dinner. I warmed something up, like some leftovers. And I took the dogs out to the bathroom. That was the extent of me getting up yesterday. And I was trashed. And I'm
completely trashed.
Still kind of hungover, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
Sith is saying that he's going to go to the Legends of Hip Hop concert at the Frost.
Legends of Hip Hop.
Dante says for me not to fight on Fremont, but he's recommending some liquid IV.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Dude, I have come to the conclusion that I can't drink for the next 2 or 3 weeks, man, because before Vegas, it was my birthday. And before that, it was, going to Spurs games or watching Spurs games with friends. I really need to stop drinking. Just 2 or 3 weeks, man. Detox.
I can't do it
for 2 or 3 weeks. Let's get that entertainment bump going, man. I want to hear that. I want to hear that sound. I love when memes give us content, but I saw a meme yesterday saying happy Breakfast Club Day because in the movie Breakfast Club, famously a John Hughes movie, a classic from 1984.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie from the very beginning where it shows the exterior of the school, and on the bottom it gives the date, and the date was March 24th, 1984, which was 40 years ago.
No, man.
And I think back about this movie because that I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up. But the John Hughes movies, I'm going to go ahead and say that I saw the vast majority of them. And John Hughes is considered to be one of the greatest movie producers, movie writers, and movie directors of the 1980s or 90s because of all the movies that he did. Now, I'm going to go through some of these movies, and I'm going to ask you the question, did you or did you not watch these movies? So I'm going to go through his movieography, if you will. Okay. Did you watch his first movie? Was back in 1982, a movie called National Lampoon's Class Reunion. Never saw that one. But the next 2 movies that he did, where he was the writer, not the director, but the writer, he wrote Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. He wrote National Lampoon's Vacation with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid,
John Candy.
Follows that up in 84 with 16 Candles, which he wrote and directed. The Breakfast Club, where he was the writer, director, and producer. He then wrote European Vacation. He also directed and wrote Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was the director, writer, and producer. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. She's Having a Baby. The Great Outdoors. Uncle Buck. Christmas Vacation. Home Alone. Carly Sue. Beethoven. Dude, that guy had hit after hit after hit. So I asked the question on Twitter. You can still vote on it. What is the greatest movie in the John Hughes collection? And I narrowed it down to 4. And I know some people are like, oh, well, it's none of the above. But I get that. But you had to narrow it down to 4. So I narrowed it down to 4. The 4 being Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Home Alone, and National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm going to go ahead and say, by the way, that those are the 4 right ones to pick. Right now, the winner, as of right now, 115 votes in, Ferris Bueller's Day Off with 29% of the vote. National Lampoon's Vacation at 27, Home Alone at 23, and The Breakfast Club at 21. That might be the closest vote we've ever had. All within 21 to 29%.
Jeez, man.
But to think about it this way, okay, first of all, Breakfast Club was a great movie.
Yeah.
You have these 5 characters played by Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, and Ali Sheedy, who I had a crush on Ali Sheedy, dude.
Really?
Ali Sheedy,
She was
not from
cute,
this
man.
movie, but from War Games.
Oh yeah, she was.
She
cute
filled
there,
out
man.
some shorts in War Games, man. There's a scene in that movie that
with
you know,
Matthew Broderick
that got me
God,
going when
bro.
I was 8 or 9 years old. But you had Molly Ringwald playing the princess, right? Then you had the nerd played by Anthony Michael Hall, the jock by Emilio Estevez. Ali Sheedy was kind of the basket case
with
and
the dandruff.
The dandruff, yeah. And then Judd Nelson was kind of the slacker, right?
Yeah.
The drug dealer. You go on to the movie, and I think the interesting thing about John Hughes was that he was able to relate what kids were going through at the time, and you can identify with 1 or 2 of these characters.
The characters, yeah.
And you had the princess by Molly Ringwald, and she is somebody who is very, very popular,
trying to live up to expectations.
Trying to live up to expectations, but also has an inflated view of herself. Because she thinks that because she's popular that she's actually liked. And sometimes the most popular people really aren't liked. And you have Ali Sheedy's character, who the funny part about that movie was, or one of the funny parts, was that she didn't even have detention. She just showed up because she had nothing better to do. And she reveals that at the end, and then she gets a makeover, and she turns into a nugget at the 90-minute mark of the movie. Talking about the fact that people are taking themselves too seriously. Anthony Michael Hall's character about the pressures of expectations, that it's okay to have expectations on your kids, but his parents drilled it in on him that he needed to be perfect when it came to his academics. And also understanding that just because you are book smart doesn't mean that you know a trade, because he has that conversation with Judd Nelson where Anthony Michael Hall's character gets a bad grade and it's lowering his GPA because he thought, I'll just take shop. Because, the people that are in shop, aren't as bright as him, but they're bright in a different way. They're bright in a trade. They know how to work their hands. They know how to use tools. And that was an awakening for Anthony Michael Hall's character, who thought that you can only make money or you can only be successful if you use your mind. And they're like, no. There's different skills that are out there. It could be auto mechanics. It could be plumbing, HVAC, electricity, whatever. And then speaking of expectations, you have Emilio Estevez's character, who's the wrestler, who's in trouble because he taped the butt cheeks of Anthony Michael Hall's friend. And he basically bullied a kid, not because he wanted to, but because he felt like he needed to have a story that his dad would one day respect him for. And his dad was a bully himself and a jock himself. And how ashamed he was of himself. Emilio Estevez has a scene in that movie where, if you watch it, it's a monologue for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, where he's talking about the shame that kid must have had to go to his parents and tell them what happened to him, and the shame that he has that he's the person who did that, and he didn't even want to do it, but he felt like he needed to prove something to his dad. And that scene where the camera is on a swivel and it just slides down the library as they're sitting down on the floor talking about this stuff. And I think he's on the couch, kind of like, or leaning up against the couch. And I remember watching that going, that is such great acting. I mean, Emilio Estevez doing a monologue in that part of it. But it got me thinking. And we did have, and I'm going to give Sith some love here. I asked the question, who are the 5 greatest characters in the John Hughes world? And I say the John Hughes world because, honestly, these all take place just outside of Chicago. All the movies do. So it's kind of like, I bet you they all exist somehow, right? I bet you that Ferris Bueller goes to a high school that is like rivals with the Breakfast Club school. But I asked the question, name the 5 best characters. And Elias says Bender from the Breakfast Club is 1. Ferris is number 2. Like a jackass, he says Long Duck Dong from 16 Candles is 3. Cousin Eddie from Vacation is 4. And the Geek from 16 Candles at 5.
Long Duck Dong was a good character, bro.
No, he
was funny, man.
Sexy girlfriend. Yeah, too many characters. But in the Breakfast Club, though, Judd Nelson has to be the best character as John Bender.
Yeah.
Because I think even he has a character arc where he learns about himself and he learns how to coexist with Molly Ringwald's character, and he kind of gets a kiss from her, and all of this stuff, and they come to an understanding. My question for this movie is, and it's also the question that Anthony Michael Hall's character, he played Brian, were they going to become friends on Monday? And Molly Ringwald, Claire, told him no.
Yeah.
That they were just friends for that day, even though they came to this big old understanding. And that's when Ali Sheedy's character comes out and says, "You're saying that not because it's true or should be true, but you're saying that because you're a bitch." And it, like, this was such a good movie. There's like the greatest movie and the best movie. So we talk about things like this all the time about, like, in the NFL, the greatest quarterback of all time is Tom Brady, but the best quarterback of all time is probably Patrick Mahomes, right? The best player of all time in basketball history is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The greatest is Michael Jordan. I'm going to say that the best movie that was in the John Hughes era is The Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club was good.
You know what? And take that back. I'm going to say it's the greatest. Because where does Ferris Bueller come into play with this?
Ferris Bueller is kind of that enigma, because Ferris Bueller is kind of just, it has its own vibe, dude. I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Rooney,
yeah. Chris reaches out to us and says, Ed Rooney, Grace. She has all the pencils in her hair.
The funniest scene to me too was when he's trying to go into Ferris's house. He goes in through the backyard, tries to go through the doggy door. Yeah, and he sees that Rottweiler, and he starts panting like a dog, and he's like, "Man, he got jacked up, bro."
The greatest line of all time is Grace saying, "Oh, he's very popular, Ed. The sportos, the motorheads, the geeks, the sluts, the bloods, the wastoids, dweebies, and dickheads, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude." And that was me in high school. Not that I was as popular as Ferris Bueller, but like all the subgroups of people kind of thought it was okay. I'm gonna say that they loved me. They just didn't hate me, But the sportos, the motorheads, the geeks, the sluts, the bloods, the wastoids, the sluts.
Hey, you know what? You're saying you feel like crap. You should go and check out my boys over here, or gals, should I say, at that RHW Santerra Resort. It's a hyper wellness like resort that they have here.
Yeah.
It's further down on 1604, but they have everything that'll make you feel better, man. They get the cryo, the IV, all the whole works, dude. Just check them out.
So we have people asking on the Twitter feed right now, the YouTube feed, about the mechanics from Ferris Bueller. The line of, do you speak English?
Oh,
yeah, man. What country do you think this is? Okay, so the greatest characters, right? So people would say that Ferris is the greatest character of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I will highly disagree. The greatest character in that movie was actually at the end of the movie, Charlie Sheen. In the end, I don't even know what character he's. Garth.
Oh, the one that was being in the jail.
Yeah, yeah. Jennifer Grey's character. He was with Jeannie, and he's like, Why do you hate him? Why do you care what Ferris is going through? Why do you care about his life? Why do you care what he's doing? And then it's a great whole thing about how he's twisting her thought process of this whole thing. And then she says, "Whatever you do, don't say the name Ferris Bueller." And this line of, "Oh, you know him." And then to bring up the character of Cousin Eddie.
Jeez, bro.
Cousin Eddie from the Vacation movies is also great.
Everybody
full.
has a cousin Eddie, bro.
Dude, shitter's full. I'm gonna give up another one here.
My thing that I liked about him is that that Christmas vacation when he's out there and they're fumigating that, he goes, I'd like to keep this here chair and fumigate it. He goes, smells like dead pussycat. And then when he saw the cat underneath, he goes, if he had 9 lives, he used them all up.
What about Chet from Weird Science?
Oh God, dude. Chet was a great character, bro.
The late Bill Paxton. People don't even realize that that's him.
That is him.
And then he turns into the piece of crap.
Yeah. What they said, what they're gonna turn him into what his name sounds like.
You know, there were the 2 girls from Weird Science, right? I know you had Kelly LeBrock, who was like the girl that was, that came out of the closet. That was the dream girl that was manifested inside the closet. Who I said today that if they were to do that right now, Sydney Sweeney would walk out.
More than likely.
Or Paige Sporonic.
Hey, speaking of that, they just tagged you earlier today.
What's that?
While we're doing the show about your girl, man. She has a thing that came out on Twitter right now, and it says things in golf that don't make sense to me. And Puffy D, our good boy Rudy G _3 on the X. He says, "Are you listening to Quiet Taste?"
What didn't make sense?
You got to go check it out, dude. He tagged you in it on the X.
Oh, she's a nugget of nuggets, dude.
Yeah, just go to notifications. Just go to the notifications.
Well, let's play it.
People who don't fix their just don't. These are things in golf that just don't make any sense to me. Not getting free relief from a fairway divot. People who don't rake their bunkers, and especially people who don't fix their pitch marks. Rounds that take over 5 hours. When a course doesn't tell you that they punched their greens and they make you pay full price. Not being able to wear shorts even when they're playing in 100-degree plus weather with humidity. People who say golf stands for gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. People who insist on playing the tips even though they don't hit it over 230. So, did I miss any?
Okay, that is Paige Sporonic on her YouTube page and also on her Twitter account.
Damn, Mike.
She's a nugget. She is a nugget. She posted this. I was born ready with 2 pitchers of beer on either side. I would picture this is what heaven is. Got to meet her for about 4 minutes a year and a half ago. Yes, I hugged Paige Sporonic. Tall tale with proof, baby. With proof.
This. Chris Gonzalez is asking, did you see Charlie Sheen's reprise that rolled in the Goldbergs?
No, I hadn't. I've seen almost every Goldbergs episode. Goldbergs was really good when it first came out, but then it got kind of lame.
Yeah. Well, they fired the dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he was being a dumbass.
Yeah. And then, you've got young Sheldon right now going into his final season as well. It got me thinking because the dad. You know, ultimately the dad. I'm not going to give it away, but
yeah,
if you follow Big Bang Theory,
what happens.
You know what happens to the dad. Elias on Twitter asking the question, I love Cheetos, says, what is the better snack? Cheetos, Pringles, Combos, or Bugles? Gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had Bugles.
Bugles were all right, dude. It's kind of like a little fluted snack, kind of like rolled up.
Yeah,
it's its own unique thing, dude.
And then Combos, I don't think I've ever had that either. Pringles, I mean, when I was a kid, Pringles were good.
They're still good, dude.
I mean, they're not bad. I buy Pringles. Now Cheetos, I love me some Cheetos.
Dude.
But you know what? Of all, and I'm not saying this because of the health kick or whatever. Of all the Cheetos, of all the chips out there that are baked, whether it be like baked Lay's is garbage. You may as well be eating cardboard, right? I don't care what flavor of baked Lay's it is, whether it be barbecue or sour cream and onion or the plain ones. It's cardboard. Baked Cheetos are really good. Really, really good. And I've never had Red Hots or the Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Oh, yeah. No Takis.
No, I don't think I've ever had Takis either.
I've tried them
I'm surprised you didn't say it's your culture.
The Takis is, man, it's all right. I mean, it's not like something I advocate for. Hey, I gotta have it. It's all right, dude.
People saying that they watched the Page video on mute. Garrett saying, shout out from the Netherlands. What's going on, my man? But okay, so Long Duck Dong. Please explain to me how that's a good character, because in the year 2024,
Oh no,
that character would never happen.
it would never
again.
happen. I'm just saying he was funny, dude. He was funny, especially when he got drunk, dude. He crashed Grandpa's car and everything, laid out on the freaking front lawn.
Mhm.
He was trash, bro.
Did you know that people who are young right now can't watch 16 Candles?
Why?
It's just they think it's creepy. The entire movie.
Cringy.
Well, creepy because you have Long Duck Dong. That shit don't fly in these days.
Yeah, not anymore, dude. Different times.
You have the fact that Jake, who is like the boy that everybody wanted, you know, that Molly Ringwald's character was for.
Yeah.
He allowed his girlfriend to get raped. I mean, he's telling her that that's him, you know, pointed at Anthony Michael Hall's character.
Yeah.
So Anthony Michael Hall's character was a rapist in that movie. That's what happened.
Straight up.
And Jake Ryan, or Jack Ryan, as Jake Ryan, allowed it and encouraged it. Then you have Long Duck Dong, which is a very caricature-y type of guy. It's a racist character. I don't know. Kids can't watch it. Now, there is an Asian character that was stereotypical in a way, but I still find to be hilarious. And it's not a John Hughes movie, if I'm not mistaken. What's that movie with oh my God, they were Howard Cosell imitators. Better Off Dead.
Oh God, yes, dude. The guys in the car.
Yeah.
They wanted to race all the time. They're doing the commentary on the microphone.
Lane Meyer.
Hey, that Better Off Dead, a lot of people haven't watched it. It's one of those like sleeper comedies.
Yeah.
It was great, dude. It was a stoner movie for sure, man.
Came out in 1985. And okay, so I'm looking at this. This is a great dovetail to end the show. Probably shouldn't end the show this way, because Better Off Dead was a great movie. The lines of "I want my $2."
$2. Trying to Paperboy.
Yeah, and he's even falling off the
cliff
on his bike.
It's when they were skiing.
Yeah. $2. But also in this movie was a creepy man. I don't know if he was creepy then, but eventually became creepy. John, what's his name here? Dan Schneider appeared in this movie.
Did he?
So do you know who Dan Schneider is?
Oh yeah, dude. He's all the talk right now with that Nickelodeon thing.
Yeah. So Dan Schneider came out in this movie, Better Off Dead. He was later on a TV show called Head of the Class, which I loved. Head of the Class.
That. Yeah.
The girl who played Simone did it for me. The redhead,
hot, dude.
She did it for me, dude. Robin Givens was in that movie. Well, Dan Schneider later on became the head honcho, the big guy, the big showrunner over at Nickelodeon for Zoe 101 and for Victorious and all of those shows. iCarly,
bunch of them.
All of those stuff. You know, Drake and Josh, Sam and Cat, Keenan and Kel, all that. The Amanda Show. So I was probably wrong about the first one, by the way, but Henry Danger. And I finally saw on Max yesterday the 4-part series. I saw all 4 parts yesterday.
Yeah.
About all the crap that goes on at Nickelodeon that went on, and the creepiness that Dan Schneider was, and all the sexual innuendo that he had on TV shows and all that stuff.
Yeah, he was a sick dude, man.
I mean, he had these kids doing sexual things on the show that was all innuendo because he thought it was funny. And his response at the end of it, he didn't get interviewed, right? I guess he didn't want to be interviewed for it, but there was a statement that was released.
Yeah.
Showed that the problem was bigger than just him. Because at the end, they're showing his statement. His statement says, parents were on the set. Nickelodeon staffers were on the set.
Yeah.
Dozens of adults were on the set. Writers were on the set. Why did no one say anything to me? And everyone's coming out saying, well, it's because you were in charge. You were the creepo in charge. But he was there saying, but the parents never said anything to me. but these people never said anything. And he's accused of sexual misconduct and gender discrimination. Not wanting to pay female writers.
Yeah, he's a bad dude, man.
On top of that, one of the other producers on that show, one of the other directors in his world, was also accused of some sort of molestation, some sort of misconduct towards Drake Bell.
No.
And if you don't know about Drake Bell was the good-looking kid on Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
And he was a musician, very good musician. Goes on to like his world unravels. You find out that he's in therapy. You find out that he's in rehab, and allegations about things with minors and text messages and stuff like that. And he comes out that in this special that he is the one that was the John Doe of the Nickelodeon trials. The Nickelodeon trial where you had this producer going out there charged with misconduct and charged with all of this stuff, and no one knew who the victim was, and he outed himself and said, I was John Doe.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say how he was trapped inside that guy's house for a while because that guy would always make it a point that he would need to stay. He would need to stay with him. He would make it that to distance him from his parents and all of this different stuff. And this kid who just wanted to be a TV star.
Yeah.
And the fear of losing that if he didn't comply.
Mm-hmm.
And then how the shit show that became his life thereafter was such a brutal commentary.
Yeah.
And Dan Schneider being the creepiest of them all.
Yeah, major creepo, dude.
Yeah, he was. But it's kind of sad, man. Kind of sad. And these are good shows, man. And one of the ones that he victimized the most was Ariana Grande.
Sad story,
Ariana Grande, who turned into a big old pop star after the fact. But he would do these videos that were like, you would get a DVD. And you'd have the movie itself, but then you'd have like outtakes, and you'd have like these vignettes.
Yeah.
He was doing vignettes, but the vignettes were always raunchy.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like double entendre and all that stuff. Guy's a big old pig.
Yeah.
What do you got going on this week, man? Because are we doing a show on Friday? Because I don't think we should.
No, I don't think so, because we're gonna be off because it's gonna be Holy Week.
Okay.
And Friday is Good Friday. So I mean, your kids are gonna be off. Spend the time with family.
Yep.
That's what we're going to wind up doing as well. I know I'm going to be, my son is going to be in town too. So he's flying into town for my birthday. So Thursday is going to be my birthday. We'll do my birthday show,
Okay.
and then that'll be the show for the week. That'll be it. But other than that, we're going to have Carolina Teague join us on Tuesday.
Nice.
We're going to have Rudy Campos hopefully join us on Wednesday. Thursday, we usually have Jeff on, but last Friday I didn't get to have my boy Fernandez on. So we can see if we can try to fit them both in. We'll have Jeff on first, have him on for a segment, and then we'll have Fernandez on Thursday. I'm going to see if he can get on Thursday, and that way we can go ahead and talk a little bit about boxing.
And by then we'll be back into the Sweet 16 on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's a cool deal.
Yeah, because we have the game coming up on that Friday with what was it? The Houston Cougars against Duke.
Spurs back in action tonight, by the way.
Against Suns again.
Yeah, Bull is back.
Oh,
the return
man.
of Bull. The Phoenix Suns are favored by 12.5 points tonight.
How well do you think the Spurs are going to do? I think it's going to be another blowout, but that's just me, man. Wemby's not going to play.
Wemby might not play.
No, he's
in
out.
This game. Okay, he's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
Sprained ankles, allegedly.
Spurs down, but yeah, he's played 63 games. He needs to play 2 more games to qualify for awards.
Yeah.
So they can't shut him down yet. But when he gets to 65, I think he's done for the year.
I don't know if they're going to shut him down. Maybe they'll roll back the minutes that he plays. But if they do shut him down, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
He already got the Rookie of the Year wrapped up.
Yeah.
Shut him down because he has the Olympics coming up. So he needs to rest.
Yeah. Let
at
him
some
rest. Kick the tires with some of the young bucks that you got and give him some run.
Again, don't forget to follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and Threads. You can also subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast on YouTube and Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. I'm oftentimes on the show. Joe is oftentimes on the show. I want to thank everybody for being on today and following our show. We are back Lots of giveaways in the next 30 days or
Jeez,
so.
dude, we're gonna have tons of
I
stuff.
mean, tablets, tickets,
Autograph
Spurs,
photos.
autograph photos, missions.
Got
Big
a whole
league,
bunch
baby.
of stuff. Yeah.
Big league, baby.
I'm thinking by maybe July we'll be scratching the door at 1,000.
And we also have a super chat match goal.
Yeah.
And what was what is this for?
Super chats, just for the super chats, for all of us. It benefits all of us that are here, part of the network, doing shows. So we're already at 132 for the month. If we get to 199, that's where we meet our goal.
Trying to see if we got any new subscribers today. I don't think so yet. I haven't checked it.
Yeah, that'll change. We're gonna start really.
We did. We got one today.
Cool, man.
So far, we're at 759. We're making that march to 1,000. And you know what? When we get to 1,000, that's when we party.
Gonna party good.
That's when we party. That is when I think, and hopefully we get it done by this summer. Have a party, like have an event.
I was thinking of like even renting a pavilion over at a river or something, having a barbecue, invite the listeners, their families to come out. Let's have a good time over at the lake or river, you know?
Speaking of barbecues, we have the Mike Taylor
barbecue
event.
Man, Brad Mayer from the Salvation Army had to tell him if he could do me a favor, man, because on yours, he put MJ Acquired Taste. I'm like, bro, we haven't done that in months. Can you put Alamo City Sportscast? He says, I got you, man. So they're going to make the change today so we can actually share the flyer with your face on there. I like the picture they used for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What barbecue cook-off? Is it on what website do they have us on?
It was on the X, dude.
Is it on Mike Taylor's?
I think it's on Brad Mayer's.
How do you spell Brad Mayer?
Brad, B-R-A-D. And then I think it's M-A-Y.
H-A-R.
Yeah.
What photo did they choose here?
Let's see if we can. There it is.
Oh, wait. Am I a celebrity judge?
Yeah, you are. I got you in. Let's see.
So I judge chicken. I can't judge brisket. It's going to be me along with Ernie Zuniga, Amanda Henderson.
You probably know some of these.
For WOAI.
Yeah.
Mandy Castillo, a recording artist. Becky Perez from World Car Kia.
Becky.
She's cute.
Yeah.
Michelle Rosales of Perry Homes.
And we also got Chicana Fuerte is going to be on the panel as well. Let's see what she's judging. I don't know what she's judging, though.
Erin Carreno is going to be there. I adore Erin Carreno. I love her content. Chuck McAtenick. Chuck.
My boy RJ Marquez is there.
We could talk. You know what? I'll get some video of him and talking about how he created the term nugget.
Oh, God.
Who else we got here? We've got Nate Ryan from Ken's 5. Steph Mejia. Very nice. Very nice. I like it.
You got Maria Medina, News 4.
Oh, really? I don't see her.
Yeah,
Where's her
there.
photo?
She's going to be on the panel with RJ Marquez.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. Vanessa Martin will be there as well.
Mariah Medina is a fantastic reporter for News 4 San Antonio. I reached out to her probably about a month ago or so, and I complimented her on her work. And I told her, I was like, I'm a former news producer, so I'm coming at it from that angle. She was very, very happy to hear what I had to say because we were kind of talking shop about certain things, and she does a very good job. Vanessa Martin from Where's Cleto Show from KBB. Nugget. Sorry, shouldn't do that about local media, but I've never met her before, but she's very, very attractive. So this is April 6th, huh?
Yeah, man. That's what they're saying.
That's coming up soon. Okay, so I'm judging chicken. Chuck and Aaron Carreno and all them are doing pork. What is specialty? What does that mean?
I don't know. I think it might be a different type of selection there.
It's time for me to call RJ Marquez from KSAT and go, dude, can I judge the beef? Because I'm going to assume that's the brisket, right? Because when I think of cook-offs, I'm thinking brisket.
No, you're judging chicken, bro.
They're like, he needs to look effing cute by summer. Marco also says I'm judging sausage.
Jesus, bro. Judging sausage.
And on that note, let's end this show. George Costanza style.
Jeez, man. We went off the rails today. We'll see you boys tomorrow. We're out. Peace.